You're not lazy. You're not sick. But have you noticed your arms and legs getting thinner? Standing up and sitting down feels harder than it used to? According to Harvard Health, after the age of 60, you can lose up to 3% of your muscle mass every year. And the cause isn't your age, it's hidden right there in your daily meals. There are 7 types of foods that seem harmless, but they're silently breaking down your muscles and stealing your independence as you get older. At minute 6, I'll reveal one vegetable that almost everyone believes is healthy, but if you eat it the wrong way, it can quietly make you weaker day by day without you even realizing it. So don't look away, because your health and your independence are on the line. I'm Dr. Thomas Blake, a geriatric specialist with over 30 years of experience, and today I'm going to walk you through 7 foods that maybe silently destroy your muscles after 60, based on science, and on real stories from my own patients. My friend, I want you to picture this. It's morning. You wake up, soft sunlight slipping through the curtains. You walk into the kitchen and pour yourself a glass of boxed juice from the fridge, maybe orange, grape, or apple. The label says clearly, 100% juice, no sugar added. You take a sip and think to yourself, this has to be healthy. But what if I told you that this seemingly harmless drink might be silently harming your body every single day? I once had a patient. He was in his 60s, very careful about what he ate. Every morning, he would drink a glass of organic, no-sugar fruit juice. But despite that, his blood sugar levels were strangely high. His muscles were weakening, and he often felt fatigued. He came to see me and asked, I don't eat sugar, so why is this happening? And then we looked back at that very glass of juice. You see, boxed juice, even without added sugar, still contains a very high amount of concentrated fructose. When you juice or process fruit, you strip away the fiber, the very thing that slows down sugar absorption and protects your liver. Without the fiber, the sugar hits your bloodstream like a flood. That doesn't just lead to insulin resistance. It also increases the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And worse yet, it blocks muscle recovery, especially for those over 50, when the body's ability to rebuild muscle is already in decline. I get it. We grew up believing that juice is healthy. And sometimes all we want is something simple, a fresh start to the day. But maybe it's time to ask ourselves, is that really fruit juice or just liquid sugar dressed up in a pretty box? If you truly want to take care of your body, go back to whole fruits, nature's original gift packed with fiber, vitamins, and living enzymes. Or better yet, a cold glass of water, a gentle herbal tea, or even a splash of fresh lemon in water. Sometimes that's the best thing you can do for your liver, your muscles, and your spirit. Age doesn't take away our health. It's the quiet, daily habits that do. So ask yourself, is that innocent little glass of juice doing that to you? Don't just trust what the label says. Listen to your body. And if you see yourself in this story, maybe it's time for a change. Start with that first sip of the day. The things that hurt us the most aren't always the ones we know are bad, but the ones we think are harmless. Have you ever felt that way? A simple breakfast. A sandwich with a few slices of deli meat. Maybe some cold cuts or sausages. Quick, convenient. And honestly, it feels pretty okay. We don't call it junk food. We just see it as a part of busy life, but still somewhat healthy. And yet, the body speaks up. I remember one of my patients, almost 70 years old. He walked every morning. He watched what he ate. No sodas, no fried food, nothing excessive. But every time he got his labs done, his inflammation markers kept creeping up. His muscles were getting weaker. His blood pressure would swing unpredictably. And he always asked me, Doctor, I'm not doing anything wrong, am I? The only thing he had, almost every day, was just a few slices of deli meat or sausage. A small habit, repeated for years. You see, these so-called processed meats, sausages, cold cuts, meatloaf, they're no longer real, whole foods. They're factory products, loaded with sodium, nitrates, and trans fats, ingredients that help them look appealing, last longer, but slowly narrow your blood vessels, trigger chronic inflammation, and wear your body down from the inside out. After age 50 or 60, our bodies don't just shrug off these things like they did when we were younger. They build up, they silently weaken our muscles, strain the heart, and overwork the kidneys day after day. But here's the good news. You can change that, and you don't have to do anything drastic. Just swap the processed meat for something real: grilled chicken, a boiled egg, some steamed fish, or a handful of nuts. Instead of eating food that looks like meat, eat actual meat, real food. Growing older doesn't take away our health, but convenience, when overused, can. And sometimes say no to just one sausage is your body's way of saying, I'm still here. I still want to live, and live well, for many more years to come. Because living long isn't enough. What matters is living light, free from pills, and free from endless doctor visits. Too much of anything, even love or seasoning, can become a burden on the heart. I want you to picture this. You've just come back from a market. It's drizzling a little, you're tired, and instead of cooking a full meal, you reach for a can of soup, or maybe just a pack of instant noodles, cracking an egg. Quick, simple, and comforting. You don't think much of it. Just a quick bite to fill the stomach. But did you know that these quick and easy meals could contain an entire day's worth of salt, or even more? I had a patient, Helen, 64 years old, lives alone. She doesn't eat out much, doesn't have a sweet tooth. But lately, she started noticing puffy eyes in the morning, unexplained fatigue, and her calves would cramp up at night. At first, she blamed it on age. But when we sat down and looked closely at her daily meals, things became clearer. Her pantry was full of convenience foods: instant noodles, canned soup, canned beans, processed meats. All easy, all fast, but all quietly packed with one thing: salt. Way too much salt. After the age of 50, especially for the heart and kidneys, the body becomes much more sensitive to sodium. High salt intake doesn't just raise blood pressure, it causes water retention, makes you feel sluggish and heavy, and slows down muscle recovery after physical activity. I often tell my patients, you don't have to cut out salt completely, but you do need to know when it's hiding. Because even a small-looking soup packet can carry enough salt to stretch your blood vessels to the limit day after day. So what's the solution? You don't have to do anything complicated. Just cut back a little on salt each meal. Cook simple meals at home with fresh ingredients. Drink more plain water. And slowly train your taste buds to enjoy lighter seasoning. That's how you give your heart a more peaceful rhythm. Have you ever felt like Helen? Strangely tired, even when you haven't done anything exhausting. Or waking up in the morning feeling just a bit swollen, a bit heavier? If so, maybe it's not that you're drinking too little water. Maybe you're eating too much hidden salt without even realizing it. Food is a gift of life, but only when it's chosen with awareness. And sometimes using just a little less salt might be your quiet way of telling your heart, I want you to stay strong for a few more good years. There are things we eat every day, not because they're good for us, but simply because they've been around in our lives for too long. I want you to think back to a recent meal. Was it a soft slice of white bread with peanut butter? Or maybe a warm plate of pasta, easy to make, easy to eat, and fills you up fast? These are foods we grew up with, familiar, convenient. And honestly, what's wrong with using them now and then to quiet down a hungry stomach? But then you notice something. You're hungry again soon after. Your body feels sluggish. Your belly seems to puff up, and that stubborn waistline won't budge, no matter how hard you try. I had a patient, Frank, 66 years old, a cheerful man who loved simplicity. He once told me, Doc, I don't eat sweets. Just bread and some pasta, that's all. So we took a closer look at his daily meals. And there was something all too familiar, yet unfortunate. White bread every morning. Refined pasta every evening. These are foods that have been stripped of fiber, lacking nutrients, yet loaded with simple carbs. They spike your insulin fast and crash just as fast, like a roller coaster. The result? Hunger comes roaring back. Your body starts storing more fat, while your muscles don't get the amino acids they need to stay strong. Have you ever felt like you ate enough, but still found yourself hungry again not long after? Ever wonder why the more white bread you eat, the more you seem to want to eat? Instead of feeling satisfied? It's not your fault. That's exactly how refined carbs are designed, to fill you up, but not truly nourish you. As a doctor, I'm not telling you to give up everything, but I do encourage smarter choices. Try whole grains, dark rye bread, quinoa, or lentils. Foods that still carry the soul of real nourishment, fiber, amino acids, and long-lasting energy. Because at this age, we don't need to eat more. We just need to eat better. And sometimes, swapping out that morning white bread could be the first step toward a whole new body, stronger, lighter, and more at peace in your own skin. Food isn't just fuel. It's the conversation we have with ourselves every single day. So tell me, what are you saying to your body with your meal today? Not everything that wakes us up actually makes us healthy. I want you to picture this. It's early morning. The sunlight is still soft. You're sitting by the balcony or near the window, holding a warm cup of coffee. The steam rises, and that familiar smell feels like it's waking up your whole soul. One cup, then another, and maybe one more in the afternoon, almost like a daily ritual. And you tell yourself, it's just coffee. What's the big deal? I once had a patient, Bill, 62 years old, a sharp man, both literally and figuratively. He didn't smoke, didn't drink, but he did drink up to 5 cups of coffee a day. In the morning, he'd have it on an empty stomach. In the afternoon, another cup, just to shake off the sluggishness. Then came the insomnia, the aching muscles, the random jitters. He couldn't figure out why, until he sat down and looked closer, at the very coffee he loved so much. You see, in moderation, coffee can be great. Sharper focus, a faster metabolism, even some brain health perks. But too much, especially on an empty stomach or close to bedtime, that's a whole different story. When you take in too much caffeine, your body releases cortisol, the stress hormone. And after 50, chronic high cortisol can break down muscle, weaken your bones, and turn sleep into something fragile, like a piece of paper that tears too easily. On top of that, caffeine blocks the absorption of essential minerals like calcium and magnesium, both crucial for keeping your heart, muscles, and nervous system working smoothly. Have you ever felt like this? Lying in bed, tossing and turning, exhausted from the day, but sleep just won't come? Maybe it's not stress. Maybe it's that cup of coffee you had at 4 p.m. As a doctor, I'm not here to tell you to give up coffee. I get it. It's a sacred part of your routine. But if you cut back to just 1 or 2 cups a day, have them after meals, and swap in some gentle green tea now and then, you might notice something magical. Deeper sleep, faster muscle recovery, and a calmer, clearer mind. Age doesn't take away our energy. But small habits, repeated every day, certainly can. And sometimes, just 1 less cup of coffee might give you a lot more. Better sleep, stronger muscles, and a more peaceful life after 60. So tell me, are you drinking coffee to wake up, or are you unintentionally keeping your body from ever truly resting? Just because something is labeled healthy doesn't mean it's actually right for your body, especially after 50. I want you to picture this. You're on a journey to take better care of your health. Every day, you try to add more greens to your meals. And one of the first things that comes to mind might be a handful of raw spinach. Toss into your lunchtime salad, or blend it into your morning smoothie. Because it's always been praised as a superfood, right? But one of my patients, Judith, 63 years old, healthy and mindful about what she eats, once told me this. I eat a lot of leafy greens, but I still get leg cramps, backaches, and my doctor said I might be developing kidney stones. I really don't get it. So we sat down, looked through her food journal, and found one thing. She was eating raw spinach nearly every single day. Have you ever felt that way? Doing the right thing, eating something good, but your body doesn't seem to appreciate it? The issue lies in one compound found in spinach, oxalic acid, a naturally occurring substance that can block your body from absorbing calcium and magnesium, 2 minerals essential for strong bones, muscles, and your nervous system. When oxalates build up, especially if you're eating raw spinach too frequently, they can lead to leg cramps, muscle aches, kidney stones, and a general feeling that your body is losing strength bit by bit. Now, that doesn't mean you have to give up spinach completely, but the way you prepare it, that's what makes all the difference. As a doctor, My advice is simple. Lightly steam or saute your spinach. That one step significantly reduces the oxalate content while still keeping most of the nutrients intact. And beyond that, try to mix up your greens. Add in some kale, arugula, or romaine. The body, much like the soul, thrives on variety, not repetition. Are you unintentionally running your body down while believing you're doing the right thing? Aging doesn't mean we need to eat less. It means we need to eat smarter. And sometimes just switching from raw to lightly cooked can help you build stronger bones, healthier muscles, and save your kidneys from working overtime. Spinach is still your friend, but only if you know how to treat it right. There are things that taste sweet but leave a bitter aftertaste in your blood, in your heart, and even in your muscles. I want you to picture this. You're sitting down watching TV in the evening. On the table, there's a plate of cookies, a few soft candies, maybe a slice of store-bought pastry. Nothing dramatic. We call it a little treat, a small habit, and sometimes a piece of childhood comfort. But then you start to notice, after these sweet bites, you feel tired more quickly, your belly seems rounder, and your muscles feel weaker. Even though you've been walking regularly, you start to struggle with blood sugar control. And eventually you ask yourself, why do I feel so drained when I don't even eat that much? I remember one of my patients. His name was Howard, 68 years old, lived alone, cheerful guy, loved to cook. He always said he wasn't into sweets, but his pantry was always stocked with packaged pastries, those mini packs you find in supermarkets. When he came to see me, his body was showing signs of chronic inflammation, increased visceral fat, and unstable insulin levels. Even though he still looked fairly lean, we sat down and reviewed everything, and realized it was those little sweet snacks, the ones that seem harmless, that were slowly breaking down his body's ability to build and repair muscle. You see, most ultra-processed sweets, cookies, candies, packaged pastries, are loaded with refined sugars and trans fats. The issue isn't the sweetness itself. It's what that sweetness does inside your body. It fuels chronic inflammation, builds up fat around your organs, and weakens your ability to maintain muscle. Something we need to protect dearly after 60. But I'm not here to tell you to give up all sweets, because joy is part of a healthy life too. What I do encourage is to change the source of that sweetness. Try a handful of fresh fruit, some nutrient-rich nuts, or a square of dark chocolate with at least 70% cacao. You'll still satisfy your sweet tooth while protecting your muscles, your heart, and your blood sugar. Are you treating your taste buds at the expense of your heart and your legs? At this age, we don't need to eat more. We just need to eat smarter. And sometimes saying no to a cookie is your way of telling your body, I'm still choosing what's best for us, even in the smallest things. Age doesn't make you weak, but habits, they sure can. Do you know what one of the most amazing things modern science has confirmed? That your muscles don't care how old you are. They don't know if you're 40, 60, or 75. Muscles only care about one thing. Are you still feeding them, or have you forgotten they're there? I've met 65-year-old men climbing stairs like they were in their 20s. I've seen 70-year-old women lifting light weights with eyes full of confidence. And I can tell you this, strength doesn't disappear. It just falls asleep, waiting for you to wake it up. If you want to keep your muscles strong, your body stable, and your independence intact, you don't need to hit the gym or stock up on supplements. You only need 3 simple, but incredibly powerful things. Eat enough protein from meat, eggs, or beans, but don't pile it all into one meal. Spread it out throughout the day. Each meal is like telling your body, let's rebuild from inside. Move gently but consistently. Take a brisk walk each afternoon. Choose the stairs over the elevator, or lift a water bottle like a mini resistance workout. These small acts add up to real strength over time. Sleep deeply and long enough, because your body can't repair if you're not resting. Sleep isn't just for your mind. It's the precious time when your muscles heal and renew. You don't need muscle to compete. You need it to hug your grandkids, to stand strong on a staircase, to walk with your head held high without the fear of falling. Age is just a number, but health, that's a choice. And each meal, each step, each good night's sleep is you choosing to live fully every day. Don't wait for your body to cry out because you've been ignoring it. Start today, even one small step, and you'll be on your way to becoming a stronger, prouder version of yourself. If you feel like your body's slowing down with time, don't be too quick to blame age, because most of what we call aging is actually just a result of habits. Change the way you eat, change the way you live, and your body just might surprise you. Before you go, I'd love to ask, which food from today's list surprised you the most? Which habit do you feel you need to change first? And would you like to keep receiving health tips like this every week? If so,